Welcome back to a special edition of Inside New Zion. Filling in for Junior, I'm Nikki.
I'm Crystal.
And we have a special guest with us, Miss Carolyn. She's going to talk to us about her experiences in theater and about the upcoming play that will be coming right here to New Zion this August. So put your hands together and welcome Miss Carolyn. Why don't you give us a brief introduction of who you are, who you'll be playing?
Well, my name is Carolyn Russ, and I'm going to be praying too, but I'm going to be playing Coretta Scott King. Yes, she's definitely a lady that I've admired. And when Harry approached me with this role last year, I was very flattered, I was humbled, and everything. I'm like, Coretta is like an amazing woman. So I was honored when he asked me to play this role.
When you hear of Coretta Scott King, like, what does that name mean to you? What does she embody that you hope to bring to the stage?
Coretta definitely embodies a strong woman. I think she was a little bit ahead of her time because during the time that she and Martin were on the scene, Coretta was a silent strength. And a lot of people underestimate the silent strength of a woman or of a person in general. But Coretta being strong and being strong behind the man that was in the forefront, her husband, and also having her own life, holding her own, taking care of children, having her own fight, her own struggles, and being an advocate on her own. I mean, she embodied a lot. And during that time when women were mostly silent behind their husbands, especially in ministry, it took a lot of strength and a lot of humility for her to be the woman that she was, silent but strong, and she was definitely heard even without saying a word.
And I think that speaks to something as women. So let's get into the nitty gritty here. So as women, I think a lot of the times, especially women that are involved in church, we feel like we have to kind of fall behind a man and we literally walk in their shadows. What is something that you do to make sure that you don't lose your light, you don't lose that favor and who you are?
Well, I can speak to that from two sides. So first, as a wife, I am divorced, but as a wife and my ex-husband was in ministry. We were in ministry together. And so there's a place that we have. And I mean that in the sense of tradition, because I am traditional. So the wife stands behind her husband. We're there to support, but it doesn't mean that our voice is stifled, okay? We still have to speak, but you just have to do it with the right rhythm. You have to do it at the right timing. And make sure you do it with respect and honor. You never want to emasculate or be forbearing, if that makes sense. But as a single woman, also being strong and taking what I learned as a married woman and still carrying myself as a woman of virtue, even as a single woman, I'm still strong, I'm still a mother, I still have a life, I still have a career, and I had all those things when I was married, but it also takes balance from the husband and the wife to recognize and respect each other.
Absolutely. Because I'm thinking, like, when you think of the power of a woman and just who we are and what we're able to bring to the table, I don't think that we always give ourselves enough credit. So if you think of things like with Dr. King being the only Black American person to have a national holiday in his honor, like that happened because of his wife pushing that forward. So I just think of things like that and I'm just like, whoa, okay, so we might be onto something.
So where would you say, so like Nikki was saying, we're here to push them, but a lot of times there's no one there to push us. So where do you gain your strength from?
Well, having your own walk with the Most High God, first off, and that's just part of my life, keeping Him first. But when you're married, there's a certain order of things. It's when we step out of that order that we're out of balance. Today, people don't like to keep things in balance because they say the world has changed. And that's true. The world has changed, but the Word of God has not changed. So we don't change the Word of God to fit our lives. We have to change our lives to fit the Word of God. And that is also true in marriage. And although some marriages fail, and God doesn't want us to get divorced, but we do have permission to get divorced in certain situations, but He still wants us to try to work it out. So true to what you said is if our husbands are pushing us just as much as we're pushing them and they're holding our hands and we're walking together and we're keeping everything in balance and in rhythm, we can be okay. And so if we're both thinking the same thing, operating the same way, then chances are you'll have a marriage and the type of relationship that Coretta and Martin had despite their struggles, which you'll find out about if you come see the play. You'll find out about the struggles on the back end. Because in the forefront, everyone smiles. We're smiling here. But we never know what someone has dealt with before you come, face to face with someone. And those are those underlying issues that we're going to get into in the play, which is why it's called In the Shadows. There's a lot to be said about that.
Listen, y'all heard it here. Y'all see all of this beauty, all of this intelligence. Now why Harry picked her to star. So make sure you get your booties in the seats this August to learn some more. Because listen, women are not here to play.
We are not.
Because we are no longer walking in those shadows. We're going to walk beside and push them along and all that good stuff. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you
and
for
I
having
cannot
me.
wait to see you in action.
I'm excited. I want to see you out there too.
Like, I'll be there hollering
All
for
of
you, like,
y'all.
yes, ma'am, go girl. Like, we'll see you right here at New Zion this August.
Thank you.
Thank you.